Hi everyone. This is the second session. I'm in for Hi everyone. In continuation with the various tabs for object-oriented class in SC24 transaction. Let's open this class once again and let's focus on the attributes tab now. As we discussed, this is a sample class we are just considering, and it has a super class, which is this ending with ABS data. Now let's go to the attribute section over here in this super class. So there are these attributes which are part of this super class, the public attributes and the protected attributes. There are a few private attributes also which are available over here. Okay, now let's go back to the original class where this was a parent class. And now let's come back to the attribute section. Now, if you see over here, the inherited attributes, only the public and protected inherited attributes have been inherited. Okay, the private attributes of the superclass have not been inherited. Now, this is what is the core concept of inheritance, which we saw over here. The superclass has three types of attributes. I mean, attributes with three different visibilities: public, protected, and private. Now, if you see, the private attribute is my entity type, subscription, notification, and so on, etc. Now, if we come back over here in this attribute section, you will see over here the inherited attributes. Only public and protected attributes have been inherited, and the private attribute of the superclass has not been inherited. Now, again, as we discussed earlier, the attribute section also has the filter checkbox over here. So if I click on the filter checkbox, only the non-inherited attribute will be visible. And if I remove this particular checkbox, then all the inherited and non-inherited attributes will be visible. So this is a non-inherited attribute, mo underscore injection. So this is the non-inherited attribute, and if I uncheck it, we will see the inherited and uninherited attribute. Now let us focus on the columns which are available in the attributes. Now, with respect to levels, we have three levels: instance attribute, static attribute, and constant. Now, again, attributes are very much similar to the variables which you declare in any report or any function module. Now, if it is a attribute which is specific to a particular instance of the class, it will have the visibility level as instance attribute. We had seen in the previous video, there are global variables in the function module. So static attributes are very much similar to the global variables in the function module. And third type of attribute is a constant attribute. Let's say if you have to declare any constant, you will call it as a level as constant and declare the attribute over here as a constant attribute. Now, this is one example of static attribute. Let's say in a program or report, if I declare two or three instances of this class, the static attribute will be shared across all these various instances, whereas the other constants or instance attribute will be specific to a particular instance. We'll discuss these things later in detail. We are just browsing through the various tabs and columns which are available. Next column which is available is visibility. So in visibility, we have public, protected, and private. Public is something which is available to the external world, and these attributes are accessible directly using a hyphen and arrow symbol out to the outside world. Protected is used within the oh, So the next column which we will be looking at is visibility. Now within visibility, we have public, protected and private. Now public is something which is available across and you can generate an instance, and these public attributes will be accessible in the calling program, function module, or any other class also. Protected is something which will be available within the your class or else the next inheriting class. And private, as we discussed, we just saw that the superclass private attribute is not available to the child. So if you are passing a particular attribute as protected attributes, it will be passed to the child. As we saw over here, the superclass protected attribute has been inherited. However, the private attribute of the superclass has been not been inherited by the child class or the base class. The next is the private attribute. So if you want a particular attribute which is specific to this particular class only, and it should not be exposed to the outside world, then it will be declared as private. So as we saw, in this super class, there are private attributes which are declared, and these are specific to this particular super class, which is abs underscore data, and it is not available within the inherited class. Now let's go to the okay, sorry. Then we have over here readable attribute only. If a particular attribute is only readable, it should not be changed. Then this checkbox should be checked. Now, with respect to typing, we have multiple options like type and typeref2 and type boxed. As far as I have seen like type and typeref2. Mostly type is preferred in all the wherever I have seen. Mostly it is type for any data element, structure, or some DDIC object. And if you are pointing to any interface or any other class reference, then it is with respect to type ref2. So if you see over here, this particular instance attribute is having a type ref2 reference to this interface. So this is the interface, and it is a type ref2 reference. Next is the associated type. At times people get confused because at times this associated type is mentioned over here, and at times this associated column is blank. And if you see this button over here, direct type entry is used. So whenever this column is blank over here and if this button is enabled, you need to click over here to see what type it is connected to. So now in this case, it is this type GCS termination reason is what it is connected to. I mean, it is type is of type so and so. So if you see values for multiplicity, it will be this type to which it will be assigned to. Okay. Now, the next one is description and the initial value. Now, the initial value can be assigned if the attribute is a constant. So you pass, if it is a string value, you pass it in single quotes. And if it is not a constant, and if it's just instance attribute or static attribute or as well, and if you want to pass any default value to a particular attribute, you can pass over here, or else just keep blank over here. Then let's proceed to the next section, which is the methods section in the next video. Thank you. Bye.